Very simply, the United States as a whole, today, actually in July 1, 2016, 36% of the country was either Hispanic, Asian, or African American. Obviously, it doesn't include a lot of other groups that some people call multicultural. So about 36 nation as a whole, but most major metropolitan areas are majority minority. And when you look at over time who's responsible for that growth, so this chart takes a look at 90 to 2000, 2000 to 2010, 2010 to 16. The bottom part of the chart represents Hispanic. The orange color represents Asian. If you look at those, they're growing a lot. So basically, in the last 6 years, if you add up Hispanic and Asian, it's about 80% of the population growth. And when you talk about consumption, sometimes it's more than 80%, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. So just almost 60% is only Hispanic. All right, Hispanics represent about 18.5% of the population, but about 60% of the growth, and that number is going to continue to increase. Another very important subject is life stage. So the younger, the more diverse. So this chart shows you basically on the left-hand side, elderly if you want, you know, grandparents and so forth. 75 plus, 80% of elderly are white, non-Hispanic. And Hispanics can be of any race. If you look all the way to the right-hand side, preschoolers, 31% are Hispanic. If you add Asian and African American, it's about 60%. So the younger, the more diverse, right? And what you'll notice in the graph at the bottom is that the bulk of the population is really in the middle, what we call bicultural, or sometimes we call it ambicultural, because essentially people want to become American, but they don't want to quit becoming wherever their heritage is from. In this day and age, you kind of can be both. Many products in the grocery store over-index for Hispanic. In other words, Hispanic households will spend more than the average on certain things. I mean, you have flour, rice, beef, et cetera. You can see the chart. They're all above 100, and many others. This is just a sample.
I find it fascinating, the ability to be able to talk to again, the right person, the right time with the right message. And whether we look at that from a standpoint of using cookies and other ways in which we talk to folks in the digital world, or in this way, looking at geography and IP address, where you can actually line up frequent shopper data, right, with the IP address and start sending messages. Potentially tweaking those messages for cultural differences, even within the same zip codes, but certainly being able to not only identify those households that are Latina mothers, but also who of them are high consumers of a particular product or category. Or is there a gap? Do I have an opportunity to be able to drive additional traffic? At the end of the day, it's bringing all of this information together in one large data set, whether it's frequent shopper data, television data, geoscape data, and actually giving you as an advertiser, for example, the opportunity to hold that data in your own DMPs, your own reservoirs of media data, your own data lakes, if you will, to bring all that information together so that you can go out and take action with your partners, not only your data partners, but your advertising partners, et cetera.